we look at the backlog in the system, that is the economic standard or for the basis of utilization, and what has been the loan before, you try to compare for a man who has an ability to reason. He must try to know the way he can recoup the loan before he starts taking a loan. And if the backlog was much, that is, we have a lot of things to pay, then to me it will not be necessary, because we'll be putting ourselves in a very tight corner. But if there is a means of payment very easily, then we can take the loan. The loan are meant to be repaid back. Is that not true? But the economic growth and development that has been able to put us in a focus to assure us that we can pay is what we should be able to focus on, so that we can know the level at which we are making the payment. The longer it is, the more we pay more interest. So to me, loan is okay, but the utilization is another thing. The implementation is another thing. Then the basis at which we pay, that is the means, that provision for it to pay back is very important. But if you take a loan and you don't pay back, it will be a risk on the country. But if we are able to pay back at the shortest possible time, then the loan is interesting.
If the government successfully takes this loan now of $22.7 billion, what it will mean is that we may now move up the ladder, and it may get to almost 80% of our total revenue. We use it on servicing debts. Simply means that there's no way that any infrastructural projects can be done in the country, because if we are taking $22.7 billion loan to service for so-called infrastructural projects and also to fund the 2020 budget, then where will we get money to fund the 2021 budget or the 2022 or 2023 budget? So the country is on a slippery slope towards economic doom, and anyone who thinks otherwise is either being politically correct or is being economically naive.
By way of antecedent, we've never been good borrowers, and in 2005-06, we knew what we went through before they could cancel some of our debts. However, no sooner did they cancel the debts that we went back into the debts, so I would not be in support of that at all. And of course, I can see some of the so-called infrastructure that they want to finance with the funds, and again, I think it's unfortunate, because it's like we're almost rebudgeting for everything, as if we don't have 1 naira. We don't intend to get 1 naira of our own. I see East-West Road, 800 million. I thought they had completed that road. It was almost complete. And for how long have we been building East-West Road? So-called Lagos-Kano Rail, 5.53 billion. Calabar-Port Harcourt Rail, 3.47 billion. I don't know what's going on here. Abuja water supply alone, 381 million. Is it not a shame, really, that Nigeria cannot provide its own water itself? You have to depend on foreign borrowing to do your own water. You know what I'm saying? And you said that this town is built from the scratch. It has a plan, but the plan doesn't include the water that people will drink in the town. And then, of course, all of this is just showing total lack of capacity on our part. You're even borrowing 500 million for social welfare. How can you borrow money just to give to people? Is it not insanity?
Stop this whole idea of borrowing this money. Because if you are living a lifestyle that is not sustainable, imagine you are unemployed, you do not have the resources, but you go to Victoria Island to go and rent a house. There's no way that you will not steal. You understand? If you don't steal, you will do prostitution. If you don't do prostitution, you will do yahoo yahoo. So that's what the government is That is how it can be akin to what this government is doing. Their character is not sustainable. Why does the president need to put 80 cars on the road if he's traveling anywhere? Why does the vice president need to put 70-something cars or 60-something cars on the road when he's traveling? Why do they need to have 10 or 11 or 12 private jets? Nigeria is a broke country. This is a country that is even doing subsidy for its currency. Do you know how much the CBN is pumping in to just cushion the naira? Even though the naira will have been over 500, they are doing fuel subsidy, waste. They are not doing subsidy for naira to cushion the naira against the dollar. You know, these guys, they are clueless. So advising them, it will be akin to pouring water in a basket. You understand? There is no advice that I can give to this government. I'm sorry.
Remember that many of the big economies we look at today, they funded their economies locally. It was about local bonds, it was about war bonds, it was about infrastructure bonds and all, which was funded by their own people. It is a sense of helplessness when our leaders leave their own people and say, oh, the foreigner is going to come and develop you. No foreigner will develop this country. It will never happen. When they come in, they have our eyes on what they want, they get it. And they go and they live in the lodge. And you can't blame them. They cannot be watching us being very profligate. And if you like, even being stupid with our own finances. And you think they'll come and put their money here and respect us and expect that we'll develop. It will never happen.